Check your phone. Just sent you a message. Just kidding. That's what the word is today. Action impact number 15 is messages. I think in 2021 we have the most different forms of messages possible. Um, and, what better topic to talk about here? So, when I look at messages or communication, there's more. There's some that I prefer way more than others, and I'm sure you're the same way. But also remember, there's messages that are, verbal and nonverbal. Um, the nonverbal ones are pretty cool, and being able to voice how you're feeling, I think, is important. Also, we commonly use text and Snapchat. I think with those, they're very intricate. There's a lot of different things that can be spun off of a text message or a Snapchat, or um, there's a lot of ways where there can be a breakdown in communication based on text or Snapchat as well. So um, just be mindful of that for sure. And uh, also with social media, you have like, comment, and share. All of those are really cool. I'm still waiting for a dislike button. I think that's something that definitely needs to happen, and um, I think it would be hilarious, you know, having a dislike button right there next to a like button. And, maybe they have one. I'm just sheltered now that I think about it. But you also have, comments, and those can get really, really deep quick, and they can also come off really negative as well. So, you definitely want to be really mindful of what you're commenting and why, and before you just say what you're thinking and you're accidentally putting down someone else. The third one is share. I think we don't do this enough. Um, when it comes to small businesses, or maybe even like you know, someone that's chasing music. That's a good one, right? Or maybe they're a bartender at one of your favorite bars, or they have something going for them. You know, be quick to share that. I think it's important that you get the support from your main friend group, and they're ultimately going to decide whether you succeed or not. So be a part of the good vibes, and make sure that you're sharing things that you agree with and that really resonate with you, or maybe share something because it'll help out a friend of yours, right? Whether that be owning a boutique, or a photography page, or somebody who's building rocking chairs, right? I think we need to use that share button more often. Um, so yeah, that was a tangent. When I was looking at which form of communication is my favorite, I was really thinking that phone calls are my favorite. Getting to hear someone's voice, and ultimately having a much more in-depth conversation in real time versus shooting a text and waiting forever, or 2 minutes, and then they finally hit you back. Like, I really enjoy phone calls, but um, I was quickly reminded that my favorite is that look. Of course, I can't replicate it on this little impact here, but um, there's a couple people in my life that know what that look is, and I'm excited for that. Um, with text and social media, be careful falling into this, because I think it'll only prolong an issue, even though it gets tough at the time to bring it up. You'll notice that you'll fall into where you're saying what others want to hear versus what they need to hear. Um, of course, there's a fine line there. You don't want to be a dick about it, but sometimes it's best that you tell them what they need to hear, not just what you want to hear. So that's definitely something that I'm living with in real time. So get excited. Um, irony. Reading a message can get really, really interesting quick. I think it's funny when messages are read completely wrong. I've fallen down this where I'll scan through a message and immediately reply and completely miss the point of the message. Um, and then you have the other side, which is you know reading the message right and kind of reading too far into it, putting too much pressure on the situation over just a simple text message. And um, either way you go there, whether you're reading into something too right or you completely miss the point. Uh, if you ever fall into the question of, what's really going on, or somebody ever sends that to you, just immediately call me. I'll let you know what to do because I've fallen into that several times where, um, it's kind of like what's really going on because maybe I was having a couple conversations at one time, or um, maybe I'm in the what's really going on because I'm, you know, stuck waiting for a response when really that response doesn't carry much weight. It shouldn't be a huge deal in my life. Um, one thing to gauge that'll help is the longer the message that you send, the longer your brain's going to be fixated on that or kind of like stuck in that. I really encourage most of the time that you're taking a moment to really clear your mind before you send a text back. Um, just to make sure that you're not, feeding off of negative emotion and just, going ham on the text bar. So really taking a moment, stepping maybe back or away from your phone or whatever, and then being able to, type a response that makes more sense, that isn't so emotionally driven and may, it'll kind of take the spite out of it as well. And I've definitely done that the wrong way. So I just learned from my mistakes on that. Um, Also, with a long message, it weighs for a bigger response. So obviously, text message is kind of what I'm relating to here, but um, you're typing up this book, right? And at some point during that, you got to ask what's the outcome, or what are the possible outcomes, um, and is it worth it? Uh, what's the best case scenario on this novel that you're sending, and what's the worst case scenario? And if you even have enough time to really think about that, you notice that your response will be much better versus just pecking away in emotion. And it's really easy to slip into that. So I guess that's why I'm covering it. But oh, this is a good one here. Read receipts. This one has waxed me. Um, I honestly turned my read receipts off, and um, maybe with continuous improvement, I'll turn them back on. I don't really think it's a huge deal, but what I did notice is that how bad I am about being on the extreme of reading a text message, unplugging, and then just not coming back to a text message. And, life gets busy, but that's really no excuse in certain scenarios. But um, the read receipts, I think it's kind of silly. Um, if you're constantly looking at someone's read receipts, it'll put you back into the what's really going on statement, where you're just way too stressed out about what's going on, or that response, or how long it takes for them to respond. And ooh, that's just a warp hole that you'll just kind of spiral into. So with read receipts, don't stress about it, but also don't don't just like mask your problems by leaving someone on read. I think that does not solve anything. Um, and if you're doing that, you're probably about to shut this video off because I just offended you. But here we go. If you're leaving someone on read, that means one of two things. You're not really being transparent with them, or you didn't really want to take a dump on them, or you're not willing to be honest, with yourself first, and then ultimately with them. It scares the shit out of me when I see somebody that has just tons of people on read. And unfortunately, in the world we live in, 2021, there's a lot of creep show guys out there that'll just, hey, hit you up off of social media or whatever. And I think it's okay to leave some of them on read. I don't want you to get kidnapped, but if it's someone in your life that you even somewhat care about, or there's a chance that you might be in the same room with them again, I encourage you to at least get some closure there, and uh, maybe just kind of say, okay, well, uh, have a great day, right? Like, just have a great day, period. And then if they bug the shit out of you again, guess what? Have a great day, period. And keep it flowing. You can even program that in your text bar if you're super cute. That might be good for somebody else, but have a great day. That's hilarious. I can't wait for people to start sending me that just based on karma. But men's communication breakdown. I think this is huge when it comes to this fancy device right here. It seems to be the best way to communicate with a female in 2021, and there's just tons of breakdown between communication here, and there's kind of a line that you have to toe where you got to show some indifference, and I suck at that, but I think that's why I'm covering it here. Is just try not to base your thought process off of assumptions, whether those be negative or positive. Again, that's just something else that'll stress you out, but um, when it comes to the breakdown in communication, I think for men and the internet, um, we have to take a feminine approach in order to get a response back. And I think in some places it should be that way. We definitely want to put our best foot forward and be nice about it. But I think in other terms, we're scared to completely be ourselves online because men being their self is still kind of a stigma versus I think women can do whatever they want on social media and they'll still be able to find a mate. So that's kind of interesting. But I think there's still a stigma behind like a man suited and booted, and what that looks like and what swag and clout looks like on the internet versus what that looks like for a female too. So maybe I'll do another impact on that. Um, but it's definitely something that's going on. Is there's a breakdown in communication over a cell phone, and I don't know. We got to cover that for sure. All right. Well, here we go. What do you do when your phone dings? Um, this is just an interesting dynamic in general. Is having some people set up on different ringtones, I think, would even make this more of an elaborate. But I'm just gonna try to make it simple. Hopefully, it comes across like I want it to. But when your phone dings, right? Like I've had both very recently, and really throughout the last 2 years too. Like it's so weird how some people, like my phone dings, I look at their name and I'm like just juiced. I'm like excited, like let's go. Like what do they need? What's going on? And then other times I'll get a text and I'm just like, yeah, that can wait, or what do they need now? Uh, it's really interesting perspective there, and um, I like the giddy feeling, when somebody hits you up that you really care about. I love that. That's awesome. But also, like I despise that feeling of like an eye roll or a huff and puff, knowing that there's somebody on the other line that you have to respond to. Um, so try to stay more in like a get to versus a got to mentality. And I think that have a great day text message maybe will help a little bit, but uh, I don't know. It's so weird where, I mean, obviously, if the phone call's making me money, I'm excited about it. I don't think I'm alone there. I feel like that's everyone, but, um, just other things, personal life or, family members. I think family members are where the gauge should be because sometimes you're excited to hear from them and sometimes you're not, like it just is what it is. Or maybe it's significant other that like the dynamic changes where it used to be like, oh, I can't wait to hear from them versus, oh, it's them again. Figure out what changed that. And I recommend you be honest about it and just, say how you're feeling. Hey, ever since you sent me that weird SpongeBob meme with all the dicks on it, I haven't been excited about your text message. Um, See how that goes for you. This is probably the wackiest impact I've done so far, so get excited there. But here we go. So I'm going to leave you with a quote um, about messages. Speak your heart. If they don't understand, the message was never meant for them, anyways.